If you've been scrolling through endless lists of medical fridges, comparing cubic footage, brand names, and price tags, and you still feel stuck wondering which one actually makes sense for your practice, you're not alone. That hesitation is real, especially when you know the difference between a reliable storage unit and a costly disappointment could affect patient safety. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this review, I'm going to walk through the day-to-day realities of the ACCUCOLD 23 cu.ft medical refrigerator so you can decide whether it truly fits your workflow or if you should keep looking. First off, let's talk about the kind of environment where a medical-grade fridge matters. I've spoken with a handful of clinic managers who keep vaccines, blood products, and specialty reagents on hand. Their biggest pain point isn't just space. It's confidence that the unit will stay within the narrow temperature range required for each product, day after day, without constant manual checks. The ACCUCOLD is built specifically for that kind of medical use. It's not a kitchen fridge repurposed for labs. The internal temperature regulation system is calibrated for clinical standards, which means you won't have to set up an external logger just to feel safe. Now, imagine a small family practice that administers flu shots during the season and stores a few hundred vials of vaccine. The 23 cu.ft capacity feels generous enough to accommodate multiple racks of vaccine boxes, a few syringes, and a small freezer drawer for backup supplies, all without cramming. In a real-world scenario I heard from a pharmacist, the interior layout allows for easy labeling on the doors, and the adjustable shelves mean you can rearrange for larger specimen tubes when you get a bulk order. That flexibility saves time during busy mornings when you need to pull a specific batch quickly. On the flip side, that same capacity can become a drawback if you're operating out of a cramped office. The unit's stainless steel exterior gives it a professional look, but it also adds a few inches to its overall footprint compared to a plastic-cased model. If your storage room is already tight, you'll need to carve out space not just for the fridge itself, but also for ventilation. Medical units need a clear airflow path to keep the compressor running efficiently. Skipping this planning step can lead to the compressor overheating, which in turn forces the unit to cycle more often and can increase electricity usage. Speaking of electricity, the ACCUCOLD isn't the cheapest option on the market, and that price point reflects the medical-grade components. For a practice that needs compliance documentation, the added cost often pays off because the unit includes a built-in alarm that sounds if the temperature drifts out of range. In a real clinic, that alarm saved a nurse from discarding an entire batch of insulin because the fridge's door was left ajar for a few minutes. The alarm is audible, but there's also a visual indicator on the front panel, making it easy for anyone on shift to see at a glance whether everything is okay. That kind of safety net is hard to quantify, but it directly protects both patient outcomes and your bottom line. If you're a research lab that runs daily temperature-sensitive experiments, you'll appreciate the quiet operation of the compressor. I heard from a graduate student who set the fridge up next to a microscopy station. The unit's low vibration design meant it didn't interfere with the sensitive equipment. For labs that need to keep their environment stable, a fridge that hums loudly or shakes can be more than a nuisance. It can actually affect experimental results. The ACCUCOLD's design minimizes that risk, which is a practical advantage you won't see on the spec sheet. However, the unit does have a couple of practical weaknesses that matter once it's in your space. The door seal, while sturdy, can become sticky after a few months of frequent opening and closing. That isn't a defect, but it does mean you'll want to schedule a quick wipe down with a mild cleaner to keep it sliding smoothly. Also, because the unit is intended for medical use, it comes with a preset temperature range that can't be adjusted beyond certain limits. If you ever need to store items that require a slightly colder environment, say, a specialty culture medium at -20°C, you'll have to look for a different model. In other words, the ACCUCOLD excels when you stay within its intended temperature band, but it's not a one-size-fits-all freezer. Who should consider buying this fridge? If you run a primary care office, urgent care center, small pharmacy, or a veterinary clinic that stores vaccines and blood products, the ACCUCOLD gives you the peace of mind that comes with medical certification, ample interior space, and built-in alarms. It also makes sense for a research team that values low vibration and reliable temperature stability for sensitive assays. Basically, any operation where the cost of a temperature breach outweighs the upfront price will find value here. Who should skip it? If you're a hobbyist, a home user looking to store a few samples, or a larger hospital that already has a